do these in person. It's just really hard for people to drive 2 hours to meet for a lunchtime, just to talk about kayak fishing. So this is a great alternative for us to get together, meet each other, tell stories, and talk about this year's schedule and ask any questions. And if you could, just please leave any questions pertaining to any events towards the once we get to the end, and then we'll go around and answer questions. Now, the way the Georgia Kayak Fishing Board handles this is you won't see each and every board member at each event. We have 8 events planned this year. We split these events up, the responsibility for leading these events up. So um, I'm responsible for 3 or 4 of them. And each board member is handling at least one event themselves. So that's why it's great that we can kind of get together in a meeting here all together and collectively go through this stuff. So 2024 season, we've got the meet and greet, which is today. Our very first event that's coming up is the Okefenokee Swamp. That is a camp and paddle, but a frequently asked question is Molly, get down. My dog's trying to get in my lap right now. Frequently asked question is we don't actually camp inside the swamp. Outside of the platforms that are on the swamp, it is illegal to camp on the swamp. We camp at Traders Hill Campground. And Traders Hill Campground has bathrooms, RV hookups, and plenty of primitive camping. We've never had an issue there with it getting full or anything like that, say that we would at Jekyll Island. Usually on our weekend-long camping paddles, some people may arrive on Thursday. The majority of the group typically arrives Friday sometime, and then we set up camp, fish Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday morning, or Sunday afternoon. But usually the 2 big days to fish are going to be Friday and Saturday. Now, with all GKF camping paddles, you'll need to cover your own lodging or camping, but the GKF fees do cover your meals and utensils and that sort of thing for Saturday night. So we have kind of a banquet night at our camping paddles. I cook a bunch. Miriam, she makes the best tacos on the planet. She cooks sometimes, and us board members all kind of round robin it a little bit to get that taken care of. So each meal is going to be provided on Saturday night on each event except the Chattahoochee River day trip, which is just a Saturday trip. Okay, so Okefenokee Swamp, camp and paddle, RVs there, primitive camping there. We're typically going to be fishing for bowfin, and they call them flyers. They're kind of like crappie, but bowfin, panfish, and pickerel is going to be the type of fish that we target on that event. And we launch at Okefenokee Adventures, which is a parking area, boat ramp, and outfitters for the Okefenokee Swamp. It's there in Folkston, Georgia. Our next event, I'm not really going to be able to give you too many details on, but Michael Davis is going to be our Wasissa River Camp and Paddle. That's April 19th through 21st. Michael, you want to tell us a little bit about that event?
Okay, so the Wasissa, I don't know if you haven't done it. Everybody needs to at least see it one time. It's beautiful. It's a river that has a low flow. It's not much current in it, so you can put in right there where we're at and at where we're going to camp at, which is primitive camping. You can paddle up, paddle down, paddle across. You can paddle any way you want to. The current is really not an issue. It's the grass. I mean, not the grass. The wind is the issue. So no, really, if you have a pedal kayak, this is a paddle. It's so much grass that everything get tangled up. I don't know if this is what we're talking about, Nick, when you're talking about it, but as far as the fishing goes, hardly no treble hooks. It's all grass. Now we have the primitive camping area reserved, and it's just straight up primitive. I don't even think there's running water. There's an outhouse, and that's about it. The cost is free as far as the camping goes when you get there, and you're more than welcome. They said they got plenty of room for all of us. I got that reserved the 19th, 20th, 21st. Was that Friday and Saturday night. but I'm gonna actually try to go down a day early if anybody wants to join me there. Trying to think what else we need to know about it. I think Matt Charette's going to help me with the paddle or the camp, and it's just a beautiful place. Now the weather's going to be tricky.
We need to invite Harry Smith so he can give us a tour of everything.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. So there's a canal that's made from the Wasissa, I think, down to the forget the name of the other river it goes through, and it's actually used. It's the Wakula.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the slave canal. They use slaves to build this canal. So we're also going to do a guided trip through that, and not sure how Nick might help me with that, but not sure if we're going to. I mean, if you want to do it, you pay extra for that. I'm not sure. I know Nick's told me that a couple times, and I just haven't got it straightened out yet. But it's actually a guided tour through Harry Smith Outdoors. He's local to the area and a great guide. So he will guide us on that trip. It's I think he said it's a 4 to 6 hour float for this trip. And he'll also provide the transportation back with your kayaks back to the campground. As far as meals, I'm hoping that we get Miriam there to cook for our Saturday night, or to do her special. But if not, we're going to have a good meal Saturday night. And as far as me personally, I'll have my grill there. I'll have a Blackstone grill and a charcoal grill. You're more than welcome to use them if you don't want to bring yours. And also, I'll cook throughout the weekend too. That's about all I got to add, if any.
The last time I went down to Wasissa, we met up with a guy named River Randy. And he had a grill in front of his kayak. And we followed him into a spring, and he set up the grill on a log in the spring while he was in about chest deep of water, proceeded to cook a couple of nice big steaks, just eat it standing there in the spring. He says he does it almost every week.
Wow.
As far as the fishing goes in the Wasissa, it's big largemouth, and you'll have a chance to catch Sewanee bass, which are really unique. Their color's beautiful. But like the largemouth can be quite big. Michael doesn't know about those, but I've caught a few of them.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of mudfish in there, bowfin, whatever you want to call them, that they get very large. So there's some big fish in there, big bass. There's a lady there that I think her biggest bass was a 13 or 14 pounder, something like that. She's caught out of it. And she's caught several 10 and 11 pounders.
She caught a
Maybe
15 and a half.
15 and a half. That's what it was.
But we don't talk about that.
No.
She would have your head.
She's a great person, but she kind of wants to, it's her little hole. She wants to keep it private. So to be honest, she probably wouldn't approve of this event.
All right, Michael, I'm going to put my dates on my schedule for my manager, see what happens.
Okay.
So pray for it. I'm going to put him right now. So I'm going to do that in a second.
Okay, so the next event up is going to be June 28th through the 30th, that weekend at Silver Lake PFA Camp and Paddle. Board member Benjamin Young is going to be our lead on that. Ben, you want to tell us a little bit about that event?
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been having a little bit of audio issues. But Silver Lake PFA is in South Georgia, by Bainbridge, right at Lake Seminole. Absolutely wonderful, great, huge lake to fish in. It's got a lot of trees and a lot of laydowns in it. But I think I'm going to spend most of my time at a place called Panic Pond. They manage Panic Pond for trophy bass. So 8, 10, 12, 13-pound bass are expected out of this little pond. So I'm expecting to be able to go down there and hopefully catch a PB bass out of Panic Pond. The camping down there is primitive camping, right? No electricity, no water. You basically have to bring everything in yourself. But as kind of an added bonus, I will be doing Dutch oven cobblers for dinner, along with dinner on Saturday night.
They're the best, too. The best cobbler I've ever had. Benjamin makes them.
Keep going strong with that blueberry one.
Yeah. I'm bringing ice cream for sure. Okay.
If
cool.
you bring ice cream, you got to make sure you pack it with dry ice so that it stays.
Yeah, it stays cold.
So it's not a milkshake.
Yeah.
That sounds good too. Cobbler milkshake. Okay, cool. And let's see. So that sums up Silver Lake, Ben?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. The next event after Silver Lake is going to be in July 20th. That's just a day event. It's going to be a Chattahoochee River day trip. I'm going to be the lead on that one. Basically, we're either gonna float Buford Dam to Settles Bridge or Morgan Falls down to Powers Island. Both trips are an all-day event. The difference between the two is Buford Dam Settles Bridge is a trout float, so we're fishing for trout. And Morgan Falls to Powers Island is going to be a bass and striper float. And I'm kind of playing it by ear just to see what the river condition is going to be. So we'll probably call that one 30 days out. And maybe even take a vote by who all's going to go. Do we want to do bass or do we want to do trout for that event? But that event will basically entail the entire group meeting at the downstream section of that run. We'll consolidate gear into a handful of trucks and vehicles, leave several vehicles downstream, and then go upstream to put in. Both of those stretches of river are pretty much handled the same way. We'll end up floating anywhere between 6 to 8 miles that day, I think. Don't check me on that. But it is going to be a multi-mile, probably 9 a.m. till about 1 p.m., 2 p.m. float on either one of those. And it just depends on the water flow, water conditions. Have we had a lot of rain? That sort of thing. But again, that's just going to be a single day float, and I'll be the lead on that. So let me know if you guys have any questions, or if you want to join and have a preference on whether you want to fish for trout or fish for striper. And I'll be able to give you the information on exactly what to cast for those fish. I grew up in Gwinnett County, so it's right next to Buford Dam. I've been paddling the Chattahoochee River for 20 plus years. So that's going to be our July trip this year. And in August, beginning of August, the next trip is going to be Rocky Mountain Camp and Paddle. That's going to be at Rocky Mountain, where I believe it's Sloppy Floyd PFA, something like that. It's up near Rome, Georgia, and Benjamin Young is going to be the lead on that one as well.
Yeah, so Rocky Mountain PFA, it's up just north of Rome. It has an absolutely great campsite there. RV hookups, things like that. So you do have to go in, make your reservations, and grab your campsites for that one. I would recommend grabbing those campsites early. It is a very popular place in the summer. It's got the camp area has a nice little beach. Now there are there is a different kind of a retention lake in there that we're seeing if we can fish that, because that has it's a really good fishery, but they're a little bit restrictive on that one. But it's a great lake. DNR does a great job of managing that lake up there. But it does. You will have to kind of grab your campsites early on.
Where do you register sites?
So you register sites through the DNR, through the reserve.georgeoutdoors.com, and you can pick one of the facilities there, and you just go through and grab the Rocky Mountain PFA. I'll make sure that website is part of the invite there.
Cool. All right. The next event up for September is going to be the Charlie Elliott Camp and Paddle, and I'm really excited about this one. I'm going to be lead on this. We have several other board members going. If you guys haven't ever been to Charlie Elliott, it is a kind of a pond hop scenario. It's going to be much like Silver Lake, to where you can choose to fish 4 or 5 different ponds on the property. One is more, or 2 of them are more of a lake, right? You can paddle the whole distance and back, but it'll take you a while. But it's really neat. Each pond, each body of water has kind of its own personality. They all go into, I guess, different phases at different times. So one may be hot and the fish are just chewing, and another one may be cold. You'll find that that's a topic of conversation around around the campsite at Charlie Elliott. But the cool thing about Charlie Elliott is they are, as we speak, updating the camping situation. So in years past, it's been primitive camping only, which it's been fun, but like they only unlock bathrooms at a certain time during the day, right? And then at night they lock them all up. So it can be kind of a pain. They've been doing construction since last year, and they're completely redoing that. So RV camping should be available, primitive camping should be available, and bathrooms are available too. So I'm really excited about Charlie Elliott. Again, we'll do dinner on Saturday night. We'll have kind of a banquet night. And this is going to be bass, crappie, and panfish fishing at Charlie Elliott. Actually, one of the biggest bass I've ever seen in my life. My friend caught and lost it at the boat at our spring fling a few years ago. Easy 10, 12-pound fish. Like the tail was huge. I mean, the fish was probably a foot tall. It was the biggest bass I've ever seen in my life. And that was at, was it Lake Bennett in the Charlie Elliott PFA, or Marvin? Didn't they call it like Marvin Ponds or something like that at some point in time?
Yeah, so it is Marvin PFA, Charlie Elliott. Like there's like 3 or 4 different names for that area. There's Charlie Elliott Wildlife Center, Marvin PFA, and then Sybil WMA. So like they're not taking reservations at the campsite yet because it's not open. But when they do open it up, it'll probably be the Sybil WMA as the campsite. Again, we'll make sure that we've got that links and everything correct in the event.
Cool. Yep. Good information. All right, Charlie Elliott. And then our last event of the year for October is Jekyll Island Camp and Paddle. That's the October 18th through the 20th. Get down. Kurt, you want to give us a rundown on that?
Yeah, sure. So this is probably one of our most popular events each year. I feel like it's a solid getaway for most people going into the fall there. So we'll be camping at Jekyll Island Campground as long as there's space. They have both RV full hookups, primitive campsites as well, full bathrooms. They actually have a brand new bathroom and shower facility. It's really nice. It's over on one side of the camp. And I know they may have just finished, but they extended the campground and added some more RV sites because it's just getting super popular. So go ahead, in terms of camping, like see if you can go ahead and reserve sites and locations. The primitive spots are really great. I think it's J7 and J11 are like in the back corner. They're probably some of the biggest primitive sites there, and they're really great. But
not to interrupt you, I have 7 booked, and I was going to just throw that out there because 11 is right there. So,
yeah, right. You got it, John. In terms of fish, it's all saltwater. So trout, redfish. At that time of the year, big bull redfish are passing through, so we can catch upwards of 30-40 pound redfish on top of your typical spot sizes as well. There may be some flounders still around, definitely sharks. Depending where you are, there could also be a few straggling tarpon that you might be able to have a chance at. they're usually gone by that point, but depending on how warm the summer is, they may still be floating around. And then of course we can go out to like the Boneyard over towards Brunswick. It's a really cool spot to catch sheep's head. It's an old like boat launch, and by boat I mean ship launching from where they were building Liberty ships for World War II. But it's really cool. There's a lot of history. Of course, it is saltwater. It is a really muddy, oystery area back in the creeks. There's one creek in particular called Clam Creek. You can go back probably all the way, depending on the tides, all the way to almost the campground on Clam Creek. It's probably about an 8-mile paddle if you want to go all the way to the back. But very tidal influence. If you fish there before, you know, hey, sometimes that current gets ripping. It does. Definitely something to pay attention to. But yeah, we'll have dinner Saturday night. More than likely, hopefully we'll have some Brazilian steak like a few years ago. That was pretty awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of Jekyll. It's an amazing trip. If you haven't been, definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, I got a few questions if you don't mind asking now.
Yeah, go for it. We do have an end of season party, but that's the date is to be decided on that. It's usually in November or so. So yeah, go for it, Freddie.
So I'm a newbie, right? So I mean, in the group, so I have a few questions in different events. Kurt, so Jekyll Island, if I remember looking online, there's no boat ramp, right? There's all beach launch.
No, there is a boat ramp. It's on the southwest side of the island. But yeah, I mean there is a boat ramp there. So if you are trailer and kayaks, you can launch there.
And that's the reason I'm asking. I got 2 kayaks, but one of them is very heavy, like the old Predator 13. It's very heavy, so it's hard for me to carry. Okay. And then the other question I got is, Nick, for you is how fast is the water on Chattahoochee? Because I've been in some areas where it's slow, then all of a sudden it's fast. That area for that event in July, I think it is, right?
Yep. So we've got our 2 options, right? We've got the southern part, the Morgan Falls to Powers Island, and then we got the part directly below the Buford Dam, which is Buford Dam to Settles Bridge. Buford Dam to Settles Bridge is a little bit more swift, right? I don't know exactly how fast the water's going, but I typically paddle a 12-foot frame seat kayak with as little weight on it as possible. That way I can maneuver through some of the trees or shoals that are there. From Morgan Falls to Powers Island, there is current, but there's very little to worry about. You could almost launch at Morgan Falls and blindfold yourself and then make it all the way down to Powers Island without running into anything. So it is going to be the easier of the 2 paddles. Both of them are very easy to paddle. But the trout run from Buford Dam to Settles Bridge is a little bit more technical because you have to kind of weave through some tighter areas.
Okay, thanks. No, I got in my second kayak is a 10-foot ascent, and I think that'll work out okay there then.
Yeah, both of them are I guess fine for entry-level paddlers. There is a class 2, potentially a 3 rapid, which is there's no rocks. It's just a heavy bottleneck on the trout portion of that, on the just below Bowman's Island, below Buford Dam. People run it all the time without, on their first kayak run. So it's not really a huge deal, especially when you have someone who can say, pick this line and then hit it straight and go for it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been on the river. I know Rapid 3 is a little challenging, so
it can be. It's scarier to hear it, like coming up on it and you hear the whoosh. That's definitely a lot scarier, but you want to keep your kayak light. You want things to be in dry bags. You don't want a big 12-volt battery or anything in your kayak on those sorts of trips.
Yeah. And then the other question I got is for the other places, ponds, is it all electric? I mean, do they allow electric power? And is it okay with I guess with a group, because I have the option to use electric or non-electric on one of my kayaks, on my bigger kayak. Is that allowed some of these places?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I don't recall a GKF location or event that we've ever had to where electric was not allowed. You know, I wouldn't recommend having electric on the Chattahoochee because
No, obviously, yeah, it'll destroy.
Yeah, all of the Georgia PFAs allow electric. It's where you get into the gas motors that you start having an issue for like the DNR managed stuff.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, I usually go to Alatoona. I mean, it's just, whenever I get time off. So, Alatoona is kind of crazy too.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get away from just going to Alatoona because it's the nearest by. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Does anybody else have any questions? Yep. Go for it.
So I'm wondering, specifically at Jekyll. So the campsites, you were saying like J7 and J11. So are those campsites that I've never been to Jekyll yet, and I'm looking forward to going this year. Do you share those campsites, or is it like one person per campsite?
Yeah, you can share them. Depending on how many tents are on that campsite, the guy on the golf cart might give you bad looks. Like we got this last year when we had 3 cars and 3 tents on one primitive spot. But
I will speak to what Kurt's saying. The biggest issue they have is the number of cars. You're allowed 2 vehicles per campsite. If you've got room to put 5 tents, you can put 5 tents, but the other vehicles need to be parked in a different area. So last year, Kurt and I and another member shared J whatever, and the biggest issue was the vehicles in the campsite. So
okay, so where does with Georgia Kayak Fishing, does everyone usually try and like stay in one area as a group, or are they like all over the place? Because I think it's fun. Okay, they are all over the place. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's really difficult to get that number of slots right next to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, I booked mine in the first of the year. I booked mine. Everything was available in the primitive area, but that'll be gone by 1st of March. I mean, it just fills up that quick. So.
Okay. Maybe we need to get that word out and have as many, of our group get those as possible.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the website right now, and there's still quite a few out there, but the primitive in the back, they're filling up a little bit faster than normal.
Okay.
And they're real particular about if you cannot put a tent on an RV site, right? So if you try and book an RV site and try and put a tent there, little guy in the golf cart will come and speak with you about it.
And actually, I do have one more question. Has anyone ever brought like their dog with them, or is that not allowed?
Yeah, they're allowed.
Okay, good.
Too bad Eduardo's not here, right? Eduardo brings his dog on every trip, I think.
Okay.
Not that dog.
Any more specific event questions?
Hey, this is Mike. I'm new to the group. So how many of you bring significant others that are not into fishing?
Never.
No. Stop it, Mark.
I'm just wondering if my wife would enjoy this.
Huh? I don't fish, and I just go for the pretty scenery and the paddle.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'm not a fisherman, and I go for the paddle, really.
Yeah.
If she loves the beach, then she can hang out on the beach, all weekend. There's more things to do than just kayak down there.
Yep. Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Benjamin, you were talking. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, my girlfriend will be there. She's not she'll paddle a little bit. She's in for the paddle, but like I said, at Jekyll specifically, I'll have a big tent set up there. It's kind of like a hangout, kind of like a headquarters almost. right there at the middle of the beach where we can, I'll have rods in the water fishing from the beach. People can meet there, paddle out. So yeah, she takes it as kind of a vacation to be at the beach. And so, yeah, there's plenty of anything you want to do. Bring your loved ones, friends. Maybe they don't paddle. Join us. Good food, good friends, all the above.
Yeah. And on Jekyll, there's so much to do outside of fishing and kayaking. If you want to bring family that are golfers, they've got a couple golf courses, putt-putt courses. I mean, the scenery is beautiful. There's a lot of history. It's a cool place to be.
And there's what's the name of the part that you can take walks too? Like, I forget the name, with the beautiful trees on the floor. What is that name? And Jackal?
Driftwood Beach.
Yeah, whatever that beach is, where all the dead trees are down.
Driftwood. Yeah. Driftwood Beach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good places. I used to not like fishing, but I now like it. But there's a lot of shopping to do. There's a lot of hiking to do. I mean, there's a lot of cool places to go in Jackal if you don't like fishing. So.
Yeah.
And again, I think we can maybe do, I really say, hopefully that would be a good trip. I want to try to go. I love the trip and take my kid with me. Lana sometimes fish, sometimes she doesn't. So if you have any kids, we can also do a group like, hey guys, what are you guys going to do today? You're just going to, make it also a family thing for others and not just like a fishing trip for the man and whoever fish. So I think that's the only thing that we want to grow with, like, hey, we also do family trips together and we all have fun together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've got an 8th grader.
Kids welcome, dogs are welcome, everybody's welcome. So that's the good thing about this group. You don't have to feel like you have to fish all the time. You can just kind of relax and have fun time.
Yeah, I'm excited. My daughter is expressing some interest in the fish. The last 2 times we've got out, she's outfished me. So I think I'm going to bring her to, the Chattahoochee day trip, Charlie Elliott, and maybe a couple of other ones.
What is Chattahoochee trips coming? When is it?
July 20th.
Yeah.
It says Saturday?
Yeah, it'll be a Saturday.
Okay, if I'm off, I might be there. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. What is it, river or lake?
River?
Yeah, not going to rivers. Okay, I skipped that one.
Okay.
I've played too many times in rivers. I think I'm going to stay away from rivers for a while. But yeah, like I say, I think it's gonna be fun. And like I say, if we can, especially like having kids or teenagers, if they want to go, it would be cool to have them with like kind of a little group with other parents to hang out too. That would be awesome.
I just booked Jekyll Island. It was 10 spot, and I did get J11. Whoever said that. So thank you.
Oh God.
Yeah, be my neighbor.
Oh, Kurt's saying thumbs down.
Boo, you took it from me. I was about to book it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
I think
all
15
good.
is right there too. So
yeah, 15's a good one as well.
Yeah, that's the one I stayed in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And you were next door to me with James. So,
yeah.
But that whole little corner is good.
Yeah,
so
that's a good spot.
So there's now 9 spots, I guess, left.
If you do, I don't remember who asked about trailering a kayak, but I do trailer my kayak, and those are not allowed to be parked by your tent. There is an area where you can drop your trailer, and I've done that for the last 2 years. Not a big deal, but you can't keep them in the campsite.
I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the challenges with a trailer, right? It's like you got to pull a trailer, and it's could break down on you as well, and so that I'll probably end up doing something to carry on the back with an arm extender or something like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
And it's
So I have a question about the Jekyll trip. So if I bring an enclosed trailer, it's not really an RV, but can I put that in the primitive sites or not?
Yes.
Sleeping.
Yeah, an enclosed
Nick
trailer.
just walked away, but
An enclosed trailer. So I've got a trailer with it's not enclosed, it's a rooftop tent. Last year I tried to put it onto a RV site, and they said for an RV site it has to be enclosed. Right? So they classify my trailer, which is, it's a converted utility trailer with a rooftop tent. They classified that as a tent, but a trailer that is enclosed, they might classify that as a camper and put it on a, like, they're you really have to talk to them and kind of get their rules about what they consider custom trailers.
So what about big campers? Do they have places for like big campers? I mean, like a 40 footer
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
and good tree clearance. I can get under it.
Oh yeah. They
Okay.
it's set up for big campers. They've got back end and pull through sites for large ones.
Okay, good.
Hey, Michael, if you bring the big camper, dibs on a bunk.
Yep. Man, Trina heard that and laughed, and she was like, "Yep, you got dibs." So if we do bring the big camper, there's 2 queen bunks in the back, and there's a couch that's like a 4-seater couch. All of it makes a bed. Everybody fights for that too. So yes, so absolutely. When I get off here, I'm gonna try to see if I can reserve.
Awesome. Do we have any more specific event questions? No, looks like we're good. Going once. All right. So just a few more things we want to kind of bring up, let you guys know, talk about. These are going to be some of our partners this season. We've partnered with Georgia River Network. We're going to partner with them on their paddle-a-thon. Benjamin can tell us a little bit more about that here in just a minute. We're also going to partner with a local Georgia tournament organization, Peach State Kayak Anglers as well. So we're going to be recommending them in our groups. As far as sponsors right now, it's very fluid. We have more coming in. We're still working a lot of that stuff out. But PTS Promotions, Festive Waters in Cumming, Georgia, Stealth Rod Holders, Vibe Kayaks, Hoodoo Sports, Hammond's Fishing Center, and Academy Sports are going to be our sponsors for the 2024 season. You'll see us prizing out things like shirts and hats and gift cards and goodies and stuff like that at our events. And our sponsors help make these events and help make this possible. So be sure to support them. And Ben, you want to tell us a little bit about the paddle-a-thon?
Right. So if anybody doesn't know, there's actually quite a few like legislative things going on in Georgia around the rights to paddle and protecting the Okefenokee Swamp. And the Georgia River Network is right in the middle of those, advocating for our rights as paddlers and fishers, and then protecting those locations that we do like to paddle. So we're partnering with them. We're trying to help them in their fundraisers. So we are going to form a team for their paddle-a-thon, right? So we already have the team out there on their network, and you can go to georgiarivers.org and find their paddle-a-thon website, and then you can kind of click through that to get to the paddle-a-thon, and then find the Georgia kayak fishing team and join the team there. And then it's reaching out to people that you may know to sponsor you and to raise money for this organization. There are prizes for different amounts raised. But if anybody has any more direct questions about that, or is having a little bit of trouble, it's a little bit difficult to sign up for the paddle-a-thon. There's a couple little hoops. Reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help walk you through how to sign up for that.
As well as me, I'm Justin. Those of you who don't know me, on the board as well. Both of us, I'm going to work with Benjamin, and hopefully the GRN is not actually promoting this, I don't think, specifically until next month, but it does run from the beginning of this year until October, I believe. So there's going to be a lot of things. We'll get with you with more information. It'll be out on our socials. It'll be on our website. We'll keep you guys informed, but I hold this dear to my heart, being a native Georgian and being able to protect and support the efforts in, keeping these rivers the way they are, cleaning up trash, doing all the things that require, the upkeep and the getting information out there to support these efforts, so that we can do the thing we enjoy doing, which is kayaking and fishing. And so I even discussed with Benjamin, outside of our trips, just look for it. Maybe we might throw in some day trips if possible. Organize. Maybe we'll do a day trip on the Flint. I personally do one every year myself, so maybe we'll try and organize something like that if a couple of you guys want to join us. Maybe up on the Etowah, something like that. Trash cleanup day. Just efforts like that. But look forward to that in the future. We're gonna keep that updated, and we'll get some information about you. But that's going on through the whole year. That's through GRN. It's called the Paddle-a-thon. So keep your eyes out for that. But reach out to me if you got any questions. I'll help you, Benjamin, myself, or any of the board members.
Cool. Awesome. Does anybody have any questions about that? Sponsors or our current 2024 partners? Awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone coming out to our virtual meet and greet. In order to register for any of our events or become a member for Georgia Kayak Fishing, just go to georgiakayakfishing.com. You'll see we have a registration page there for events. You'll see we also have a membership opportunity for events as well too. If you'd like to help out with any events, message one of the board members or message us on Facebook. And yeah, we're always looking for help. So if you'd like to help us out with anything, let us know. We're definitely welcome to those ideas. But yeah, thanks for everybody for joining us. It's great to see y'all's faces, and I can't wait to see y'all at Okefenokee here in about another 30 days.
Ooh.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah,
Have a good day.
I will be doing
Nice meeting you
the
all.
cobbler at Okefenokee too, so it's a nice campsite there to do that.
For sure.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
is.
Awesome. Y'all take care. Great to see you.
Y'all have
Bye.
a good weekend.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks all.
Make sure everyone gets cleared out of here.
You're the only one.
I got to lock it so people can't come back in and join the meeting. So,
Have a good day, sir. Bye.
all right, we'll see you there. Bye.